Good afternoon, this is Sky Sports News with the news of the first England squad of a new season, and there are some fascinating lines in Gareth Southgate's squad to play Scotland and Ukraine over the next fortnight or so. Jordan Henderson is included despite his move to Saudi Arabia. Harry Maguire is in despite playing no Premier League minutes so far this season. Raheem Sterling, despite his outstanding start with Chelsea, is not in. Arsenal's Eddie Nketiah in good form, partly off the bench. He gets a call-up. Callum Wilson is in, but Ollie Watkins is not. Levi Colwill is in. Trent Alexander-Arnold is listed as a midfielder. We will get you to Gareth Southgate's news conference as soon as that starts. It hasn't started yet. We're expecting it very shortly. I'll rattle through the squad for you in full. Sam Johnstone, Jordan Pickford and Aaron Ramsdale, the goalkeepers. Listed as the defenders, Ben Chilwell, Levi Colwill, Lewis Dunk, Marc, Guehi, Harry Maguire, Fikayo, Tomori, back in favour, so often omitted, despite calls for him to be in. Kieran, Trippier and Kyle Walker. As I mentioned, Trent Alexander-Arnold listed amongst the midfielders alongside Jude Bellingham, Conor Gallagher, Jordan Henderson, Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice. And forwards, Eberechi Eze, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, as we wait for Gareth Southgate to arrive, as though he knew the squad was about to be completed on Sky Sports News. Maybe he did. Harry Kane, James Maddison, Eddie Nketiah, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka and Callum Wilson. And the England manager will answer question from, first of all, Sky's Rob Dorset.
50th anniversary heritage match against Scotland. We'll start as ever with Rob Dorset from Sky Sports News. When you're ready, Rob.
Thanks, Andy. Hi, Gareth. Nice to see you. Eddie Nketiah and Levi Colwill, I think, are going to grab the headlines as the most startling picks that you've made. Talk us through those two first, please.
Well, two young players who are doing very well, have done well with our junior teams. Levi, of course, had some time with us in the summer anyway. And really the basis of this squad is, you know, we left Old Trafford after two really good performances. 4 good performances in the group, so I didn't really want to move from the squad we had that day. We're only 3 games into the start of the season, but we've had a lot of people at the back with issues, so we've had to make changes there. And the only other change then is Eddie, who's coming in because it's an area where we'd like to have a look at him. He's a young player with a really good pedigree, very good finisher. And it's good for him to have some time with us. You know, he's, I think, record goal scorer with the under-21s as well. So he's not had the chance to work with us up to this point, but he's a player that we're really interested in.
Raheem Sterling's been flying for Chelsea. Why is he not there?
Well, because of what I said. You know, we were really pleased with the group to bring Raheem back in. We've got to leave somebody else out, and on the back of 3 games, I didn't think anybody in this group of attacking players warrants being left out. So it's really good to see Raheem start the season so well. He looks in good condition. He looks hungry. He's obviously an important player for us, and has been an important player for us. But we have, in those attacking areas just behind the 9, got a lot of competition for places. And I think all of those players have started the season well, and they've certainly... the group that are with us have done really well for us in the recent games. We
shouldn't have any concerns about his long-term England future here. The fact that this is a 3rd squad on the trot, I think, that he's not been involved in. Yeah,
but he was not available for the last 2. So, and of course, that's given other people the opportunity to play well and to establish themselves in the group. So, it's a difficult call, and you know, Raheem's not particularly happy about it, but. I understand that because he's an important player for us, and you know, I'm convinced he's going to have an excellent season with Chelsea. There's no doubt about that.
Thank you. There's always controversy whenever you pick the players, because I think you and a lot of fans would probably like to have 30 or 40 in this squad. But Harry Maguire and Jordan Henderson's inclusions will probably make some headlines as well, and make 1 or 2 fans, you know, prick their ears up and think why. Harry Maguire hasn't played any time at all for Manchester United. Jordan Henderson now in Saudi Arabia. What's your thinking with those 2 senior players?
Well, with Harry Maguire, we've lost a lot of experienced players in terms of caps at centre-half. So we're giving some less experienced players the opportunity to come into the squad. But unfortunately, we look like Tyrone is out for most of the season. Johnstone is out for this camp. Eric Dyer hasn't appeared in Tottenham's squad. So if I'm looking at all the players we've given caps to in the last few years, Connor Cody's also out and playing in the Championship now. So there is a space there, and I think for these two games it's important we have some experience in that area of the pitch. Clearly with Harry and with Calvin Phillips, it's far from ideal that they're not playing football. But similarly with Calvin, I think Declan Rice was the only English player to start at the weekend as a single pivot. And Calvin is the next best positioned to do that. Hendo can play there, Conor Gallagher could play there, but it's not their best position. We've got players playing in the league that are playing in a double pivot. Someone like Angel Gomez is doing that, but it's a different sort of role. So, yeah, it's not a good situation that those guys aren't playing football. But that's, in certain positions we have a lot of depth, and in other positions we don't have a lot of depth.
Moving away from this squad, Gareth, and I know this is a squad announcement news conference, but so much has happened since we've last spoken to you, and somebody you gave a debut to is Mason Greenwood. You gave him an England debut. He's now, by mutual consent, left Manchester United looking for another club. If and when he gets that other club, does he still have an England future with you in charge?
Well, it's clearly a very complex case, and at the moment he isn't playing football, so it's not a consideration for us.
Going forward? Or is that hypothetical and you don't want to go there?
Well, that is hypothetical, and I think it's a topic that whatever I say, I could give you a very nuanced answer in either way, but that would just be used in a less nuanced fashion, frankly.
Fair enough. Look, massively important story in football right now is Luis Rubiales and what's happened in the Spanish Federation. You probably saw what everybody else saw. What did you make of it, and does it show that misogyny in football, if you like, is there for everybody to see, and it's not just a Spanish problem as well?
I would say that when you're a male in a leadership position, you've got a huge responsibility in terms of how you behave, and any leader, but in this instance a male interacting with females. So that is my first thought. And my second thought would be with the Spanish team, because they played unbelievably well, deserve huge amount of credit, as do our girls, who had a brilliant tournament. And it's very sad for them that the focus is not on what they did on the pitch.
Last one from me. I'm sorry I've taken a lot of time, but you'll have no doubt enjoyed watching the Lionesses go as far as they did. Mm-hmm. Came very close again. But I wanted to ask about your opposite number, Serena Wiegmann, who's done an incredible job, and she's now being linked with managerial roles in the men's game. Mm-hmm. Could she make that step and be successful in the men's game, do you believe?
Well, firstly, she's done a brilliant job with our team, and huge respect. We were communicating through the tournament, and we got on really well, so I'm really happy for her, what she's done. I think she's up for an award tonight, and hope she manages to secure that. So I don't know is the answer to your question, because clearly we have women CEOs in some of the biggest businesses in the world, so females in those leadership positions, it's more than possible. Of course, nobody has been given that opportunity yet in men's football. And I guess you've got to ask them as well whether that's something they actually want to do, because there's a debate, a general debate, but then there's actually what do individual people want to do. I know Emma has often said, not necessarily for me. So, and as I'm sitting here answering your questions, that probably tells you why. It's an interesting debate, but I don't know the answer.
Hi, Gareth. Jordan Henderson's made his move to Saudi Arabia, and you said you were going to have a chat with him, and he was going to speak to you about his England future. Is there a concern about the level of football he'll be playing, and how will he be assessed going forward?
Well, we've watched every game. The key as we move forward is going to be the physical intensity of the league, and because of the heat as well, whether whether that's going to allow him to perform at the level we need, that's a huge consideration. Clearly the level of the league we're still assessing and is changing all the time, because lots of other countries are going to have this issue. You know, Portugal have got a few players there. Other European countries have got players there, so I'm sure they're going to be playing international football still. Hendo's got to, and we've got to assess where he's going to sit in terms of our squad and map him against those other players. And that's not as easy when you're not playing in Champions League games or the Premier League games. But as I've already discussed with a couple of other players that are in the squad, it's not a straightforward decision on picking any of the positions, really.
When you name an England squad, there's usually a lot made of the number of fullbacks in the team. There's only 3 recognised in this squad. Trent is listed as a midfielder. Is that an area of concern now going forward? Is it just a situation you find yourself in for this camp?
Well, there aren't many English left-backs playing in at the highest level. I think you're talking Tyreek Mitchell, Rico Henry, obviously Ben and Dan Burn is the centre-back playing at left-back with Newcastle. Luke missing. So, Levi Colwill covers both those positions. It's been interesting to see him play there. So there may be 1 or 2 others we look at in that area as the season goes on, but for what are 2 really important games for us, this was the squad we felt was the right one.
And just lastly, on Levi Colwill, how important is it to have a specialised left-sided left-back, left-footed? Everyone said how rare it is to find a player at the elite level in football.
Well, he's doing really well. He's progressing. We really liked him at the end of last season with Brighton. That's why we brought him in to train with us. And he had a really good tournament with the under-21s. So he showed under pressure that he could cope with those things. Has started well with Chelsea in a slightly different position. It's not ideal for him in that it's something he hasn't done for a while, but he has done it in the past. It's very early stages in his career, but he's really made good progress.
Thanks, Alex. Please raise your hand if you do have any further questions. But for now, Alex, you pass it back to Rob Tanner, The Athletic. Thank you.
Sorry. Gareth, just on Jordan Henderson, with England choosing to not wear the One Love armband at the World Cup and now one of the senior squad members playing in Saudi Arabia, does football in general, including the England team, need to accept that LGBT fans are not their priority when it comes to the moments that really matter?
Look, I think we are supportive of the LGBT plus community. A large number of the team and staff have either relatives or friends from that community. So, it's something that a relationship that we're very conscious of and a situation that we're very conscious of. We have tried to be supportive, but I also accept that members of that community felt let down around the World Cup. I think you have to live your life as you see fit. So, I can only talk on a personal level and my feelings of what the team represent, that I'll always try to do the things, live my life in a way that I believe is inclusive and try to be accepting of all cultures and understanding of everybody's different positions. And I do know that we're in a position where there might be a feeling we haven't done enough in certain situations, and if that's the case, then we have to accept that criticism. But it's not intentional that we would feel that we'd let down any of our fans. But it's these are all very complex situations that we're trying to do the best at navigating.
Thanks, Rob. Any further questions in this section? James Ollie, the ESPN. Thank you.
Hi, Gareth. Just following on from that, have you got any concerns about the potential fan reaction towards Jordan if he does play in these 2 games?
Because of what?
Well, because of the controversy around his move to Saudi Arabia and the fact that obviously he's not played in England since he's moved.
No, I mean, I don't really know. I don't really know. We're picking a team for football reasons. There are lots of different ownership models of clubs in England. There are lots of different players playing in countries where there are different religious beliefs. I don't really know why a player would receive an adverse reaction because of where he plays his football. That of course is a personal choice, but I think it's really difficult to. Yeah, I'm a bit lost really with some of the questioning because you walk in to try and talk about a squad announcement based on football decisions, and increasingly we're navigating such complex political aspects that I'm not really trained to do. So forgive me if I'm stumbling a little bit, but I find it really a really difficult scenario to try and get right. We'll do the best we can, and we are trying to make the decisions on any number of reasons, but I have to pick a squad based on the players that we think can get us qualified for a European Championship, and that's why we've picked the squad we have.
Let me ask you a more positive one then about Harry Kane. He's obviously moved to Bayern. I just wondered did he seek your advice at all? Did you speak to him before he made that move? And what does it say about, what messages it sends to the younger players that an England captain, 30, prime of his career, is prepared to go and play abroad?
Yeah, I think it's a really good challenge for him. Bayern Munich's a huge football club. He's leaving a big football club here to go to the biggest one in Germany. He's going to be expected to be challenging for trophies every game he plays. He's got a new set of supporters to win over and a new set of teammates to impress every day on the training field. So I think from that respect, a fresh challenge for him I would view as a positive. I think from a life experience perspective, to live in different cultures, to live in different countries is brilliant for your own personal development in your family. I'm looking forward to talking to him a little bit more. I've briefly spoken with him, but it'd be good to see how he's finding everything when he's with us next week.
Did he seek your advice at all before he made the move or not?
No. I mean, I'm always there if players want to speak, but I'm also not influencing their club decisions. That wouldn't be right, really.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, James. Any further questions? Okay, we'll end it there. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Gareth Southgate live at St George's Park announcing his England squad. Just a couple of highlights from what he had to say in the last few minutes. Raheem Sterling left out. He said he looks hungry, an important player for us, and has been. And he said it was a difficult call, and Raheem is not particularly happy that he has been left out. He said he've had to leave somebody else out who's done well for England to get Sterling in. He said it's not ideal, quote, that Harry Maguire and indeed Calvin Phillips haven't played any football in the Premier League this season, but he said they were short in those areas. And on Jordan Henderson, said they've watched every game that he's played in Saudi Arabia so far. The issue could be, is there enough physical intensity? Is he able to keep that up in the heat of Saudi Arabia?